From world events to Washington and New York City, here's your concise world update for Wednesday, January 21st. President Donald Trump isn't done with Iran, even after calling off strikes days ago. Officials say Trump has been explicit that any U.S. action should fundamentally change Iran's behavior, not merely send a warning shot. The standoff with Iran over accounting for its stockpile of highly enriched uranium and allowing inspections of nuclear facilities bombed by the United States cannot continue indefinitely. Ukrainian President Zelensky urged the United States to ramp up pressure on Russia after a fresh wave of airstrikes knocked out roughly half of Kyiv and hit power substations that the UN's nuclear watchdog says are critical to nuclear safety. 7 lawmakers quit Geert Wilders' far-right Party for Freedom on Tuesday, dealing a sharp blow to the Dutch anti-Islam firebrand months after he narrowly missed winning national elections. Air Force One returned to Joint Base Andrews late Tuesday with Donald Trump on board after experiencing what the White House described as a minor electrical issue. Federal prosecutors on Tuesday issued subpoenas to at least 5 Democratic officials in Minnesota, escalating a Justice Department investigation into their response to the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement in the state. A bipartisan spending deal unveiled by U.S. lawmakers on Tuesday would fund 2,500 additional air traffic controllers and allocate $2.4 billion to passenger rail operator Amtrak. A dangerous blast of cold air has settled over much of the country. About 43 million people were under cold weather alerts stretching from the upper Midwest through the central Appalachians and into the Northeast. President Donald Trump marked the anniversary of his return to office not with a scripted recitation of accomplishments, but with a wide-ranging, free-flowing conversation that underscored his comfort on the national stage and his willingness to speak directly and at length with the press. House and Senate leaders are trying to clear the package of $1.2 trillion funding deal before the January 30 shutdown deadline. Federal judges moved to oust Lindsay Halligan as U.S. Attorney, bringing an end to a turbulent 4-month tenure in which became the driving force behind prosecutions of former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Liberal Senator Ed Markey on Tuesday called for President Donald Trump to be removed from office under the 25th Amendment, after Trump suggested he would have been less inclined to pressure Denmark over Greenland had he won the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. Mayor Zoran Mamdani said Tuesday that he supports abolishing immigration and customs enforcement, accusing the agency of inflicting harm as it ramps up immigration enforcement nationwide.
We're seeing a government agency that is supposed to be enforcing some kind of immigration law, but instead what it's doing is terrorizing people.
Governor Kathy Hochul on Tuesday unveiled a preliminary $260 billion executive budget that expands childcare, aims to lower energy costs, and invests in infrastructure such as sewers and mass transit, while holding the line on income taxes as she heads into a contested re-election year. Forecasters are warning New Yorkers to prepare for another round of snow as a prolonged stretch of bitter winter weather continues. The New Jersey Attorney General's office is investigating a fatal police shooting in Newark, a step that is standard in any case involving the death of a civilian at the hands of law enforcement. Representatives from several Jewish organizations met last week with Paula Stannard, director of the Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights, to press for action to address anti-Semitism in healthcare and medical education. U.S. stocks tumbled on Tuesday, with all 3 major Wall Street indexes posting sharp losses as markets around the world sold off amid fears that renewed tariff threats from President Donald Trump could reignite volatility. The New York Stock Exchange is developing a digital trading platform that would allow investors to buy and sell tokenized assets around the clock, expanding beyond the exchange's traditional weekday trading hours. From the Middle East to Wall Street, you're up to date.